As you can see, the entity was officially submitted. My active government contracting companies are here, and it went from ID assigned to submitted registration. This is exactly what you want. This page right here. It's letting you know that you've submitted everything that they have asked for. In order to access over $500 billion in federal government contracts, you must have a CAGE code. I'm going to walk you through those steps. So let's go along so I can walk you through using my foundation. Before we get started, you want to make sure that you have your business banking information. If you do not have a business bank account, that is okay. Just have your checking information. You're going to want a copy of your EIN issued by the IRS. You want to make sure you have a physical address affiliated with the business that you are registering, whether it's a for-profit or it's a non-profit company. One more thing, please identify at least one NAICS code, because you can always go back to change these things. Get your CAGE code so you can start bidding, winning, and getting these profitable contracts. We're going to log into Sam.gov. For security purposes, it will ask you for an additional verification method. Perfect. Now we are in. You're gonna wanna make sure you're in your workspace. It's here. You can click it in case you're that type of person. Sometimes I like to click it, hey, who doesn't? It means you have a UEI and you need to finish the steps to obtain a CAGE code. So right here is my UEI. You're gonna select the three here. Sometimes people call this the hamburger button. Who knows? We're gonna click register. You are interested in all awards because you need a CAGE code to obtain a prime government contract. So you're going to select that. Pretty much everyone watching this video, you are not a government entity. So select no. If by chance you are, meaning you're representing a state or government, then select yes. If that does not apply, select no. My entity is physically located in the United States. You must select that. If that applies, if you are outside of the United States, then select that option. Either way, you can register. What's key is you must have a physical location. No, do not have a CAGE code. If you have a CAGE code, it would have showed up. Instead, you only saw the UEI. At this stage, they're asking if this information is correct, and it is. What is your relationship? I'm an employee. I am the owner. If you're not, then select you're not an employee or officer of this entity. More than likely, you should select the first one. Also, they want you to select that you're certified to authorize these transactions. And the reason for it is because people have done very nefarious things with Sam.gov. A lot of people have created dummy accounts to be able to obtain access, and here's why. Because this portal holds your banking information. So anytime you receive any type of government contract as a prime, you are paid via the banking information entered here. So if someone is able to get in here, guess what? They can change the banking information and poof, your money is diverted to them. Now, you may have noticed the screen change. It went from 2023 to 2003. So now they're going to start asking for key information. And this is why it's really important to have at least one NAICS identified, have your key documents ready, especially NAICS and banking information. Okay, so they're asking for your start date of your business. So you can see I pulled up my nifty PDF here and I'm able to pull that out. The effective date, I'm going to list as 3/1/22. Why? Because this is what I have evidence of. The end of the fiscal year is 12/31, unless you operate on something different. I don't have a URL. It's not something that you have to have at this point in time. So it's okay to leave it blank. You can have a different mailing address if you desire. I use the same one. Okay, so you see they rejected it because I didn't put a double-digit date. Now they're asking for your tax ID information. And this is found on your form issued by the IRS, or if you use like a LegalZoom or somebody else, it's all located there. Now they're asking, list the taxpayer name. It must exactly match the name the IRS has on file for your entity's TIN. For those of you who may be like, what? It's exactly as the name appears on your form issued by the IRS. So you'll notice here, it's Kizzy Foundation, Inc. That is what I must type in here. It's nice you can copy the mailing address. Again, you must have a physical address, but you can have a completely different address for mailing. You can have a PO box, you can have a virtual address, but you must have a physical address. In case those of you are wondering, like, are you bowling in between takes? I wear a wrist guard. This is what happens when you work 60 hours a week in a call center. I have a little bit of carpal tunnel. No nerve damage, y'all, no nerve damage, but I always use a wrist guard when I'm typing. I'm double checking to see if I put my middle initial in here. I typically like to do that because, believe it or not, there are other Kizzy Parks out there, and so I like using my middle initial, but I like to double check because sometimes I forget and I don't use it. But what's important is to check. Most recent tax year, it was 22. They're notifying me that a one-time password will be sent to the email that I listed here. So I'm gonna check on my phone. Okay, terrific. So I received an email, and the email comes from do not reply at Sam.gov. Okay, so it did not take my name, and it could be that I put the period after the M. Sometimes these systems are sensitive. It's completely okay. So they're gonna send me another passcode. I received it. It went directly to my primary folder. I'm a Gmail person. That's who provides pretty much all of our back-end email. Didn't go to spam, didn't go to junk, but for those of you who are using a different email, check all of those folders because it appeared very fast. Is another entity owner control? No. Are you the successor to predecessor? No. And you'll notice they also have pop-up boxes. So if you're the type, you love information, you want to know the definition, well, guess what? All of that is here for you. They also provide a very lengthy PDF that breaks down all of these steps. I'm the type of person who needs video, I need audio, but if you're the type who really likes to really dig in and read, or you want to print it, that's also an option for you. So for those of you who wonder, oh, can I get a government contract if I'm not in the United States? Look at all these countries here. Yes, yes is the answer. Now I have to find the United States. Great. And this is also important to know, where is your business incorporated? I tend to incorporate all of my businesses in Florida. I'm gonna put not applicable, not applicable. If this applies to you, by all means. Typically, this won't apply because clearance is at the corporation level, but that's for another video. So my business is a foundation, so I will select foundation. For many of you watching, it probably none of these apply. If you're certified by the Department of Transportation Disadvantaged Business Enterprise in a particular state, then you would select yes. If the answer is no, then just select no. Here's another bonus strategy. All of this information can be revised after the fact. What's key is you want to go through this so you can obtain your cage code. Make adjustments later. It's not about being perfect, it's taking action. That's what's key. It asks if you're native. I am not. So you would select your organization factors. Since I'm registering a nonprofit, I'm selecting corporate entity tax exempt. Majority of you watching would fall under corporate entity not tax exempt. Unless you have a letter similar to the one here that states that you are a 501c3 or some other type of designation indicating that you are tax exempt. This is vital because they're going to check all of this information. No different than if you are an S Corp or an LLC, you want to make sure all of that information is listed. For this question, more than likely you are a for-profit organization. This is what's known as self-certifying. So I am woman-owned. And I am minority-owned. So just select whatever applies, whether you're a veteran, you're a woman, so on and so forth. A joint venture refers to a different type of business structure. If you're watching this and you are a joint venture and you are submitting a joint venture for a cage code, then select the options that align with your type of business. Okay, terrific. Okay. So here they are asking for your banking information. If for some reason you do not have a business bank account, that is okay. Just enter your personal checking account. Because remember, you can go back after you obtain your cage code. One other bonus strategy, definitely select yes that you take credit cards as a method of payment. Why? Because you can easily figure out how to accept it. Whether you get a merchant account, you run it through Stripe, you run it through Square, select yes, because that's an easy button for the federal government. And this is often how they pay for micro purchases. Typing in the account number, routing. It's okay if you don't have a fax number. Type in your email and make sure the address matches what you have with your bank. That's very important. Now they're asking about executive compensation. 80% or more of your annual gross revenues in the US and or corporate agreements, and 25 million or more in annual gross revenue from US contracts. They're asking you in your business or your organization's preceding completed fiscal year, did you meet either of these? More than likely, the response is no. It could be yes for some of you. I know there are many out there, and I thank you so much, who support my channel, who you're doing well over 25 million a year. So just make sure you answer every question based on your situation. What's key is I just want you to understand what they're asking and have a little bit of context as far as why. They're basically asking this to kind of gauge if you're a small business or not. Is your business organization is represented by the UEI, responding to a federal procurement that contains this FAR? For this, I'm just gonna say no, because we're not at this point in time. But let's see what happens if you select yes. If you select yes, then they ask you, do you have any contracts greater than 10 million? No. And then you'll also notice there's a question here asking about criminal proceedings, civil proceedings, but right now it doesn't populate. So let's move that back to no. So this page provides a summary of all the information that was just entered. Save and continue. Now it's going to ask you for NAICS. You simply type in a NAICS here and you add it. If you need to look for any NAICS, this is a great website to go to. There are others that are out there. Just Google NAICS and a couple will come up. Keep in mind, you may add to this. Often with different opportunities, you're going to see they use a slew of NAICS codes. So when you're first signing up, there's no way you're going to know every single NAICS you should add. For instance, we won an opportunity once for those Oculus headsets. For whatever reason, the NAICS that they used was computer assembly, something of that sort. I didn't assemble these NAICS. I purchased them from Amazon and flipped them to the Air Force. So there's no way I would have had that NAICS in there. You just simply log back in and add the NAICS. But you do all of this once you're assigned the cage code. So just as long as you can enter one, you're perfectly fine. I entered 541611 because it's a very common NAICS. I really want to help you with this section, especially for those you're just starting out and you're like, I don't have anything to report. Simply type in $1. Pulling in for my Price is Right days, $1. Number of employees, I don't have any employees. Same thing, 1 and 0, 1 and 0. If this section pertains to you, then by all means, change this to yes and fill in the information. This does not apply, so that's why I selected no. For those of you who are interested in disaster response opportunities, select yes. I am not. Once again, they're providing a recap of all the information that's been entered. The reason that they're asking all this information is they're going to put it all in your SAM profile, and much of it will be on display in what's known as the Dynamic Small Business Search Portal. I noticed it's a little bit kind of under construction, so they're asking this for a reason. I promise you. I promise y'all. If you want, you can add another person here. I have no reason to do that. As far as Environmental Protection Agency and this question around recovered material, I'm just selecting will provide with specific offers to the government, because I don't plan on getting into that type of work. But hey, I never expected to be in the type of work that I'm in with vape and supporting food inspectors. So hey, it's great to keep the door open. Do you have other plants or facilities at different addresses routinely used? No. Okay, so I did have to add a person. Oh my goodness. I misspoke, y'all. Okay, terrific. Are you controlled by common parent? No. Now they're asking if anyone connected is debarred or suspended. No. Have I been convicted? No. Have I been notified of delinquent taxes? No. And so on and so forth. Been terminated for cause? No. Okay. If you have a joint venture, they're asking for that. I don't have that. Provide any data that qualifies as limited rights? No. Oh. None. There we go. And I'm intentionally leaving in all of the missteps that I make because we're all human. This is my very first time registering a foundation. You may have noticed at the very beginning under my workspace, I have multiple companies registered. So I kind of know what I'm doing on a good day, y'all. I kind of know what I'm doing, but let's keep it moving. Okay, let's see. Does Kizzy Foundation deliver any end products that are listed? by child labor, no. Previous contracts set schedule subject to this FAR, no. Foreign end products. I strongly encourage you to select vendor will provide. And the reason for it is if you ever bid on any work under the government publishing office, often the products that you're going to bring in come from Alibaba, which in turn come from China, and everyone involved is very well aware of that. So they'll ask for images, the origin, and other information. So it's best just to do that because the goal is to get your cage. You can always go back and make any changes. The answer here is no, any kind of EEO reports. And for many of you watching, the same applies. Do I provide maintenance, calibration? No. I'm just gonna put provide with specific offers. Great, save and continue. Okay, I skipped one. Okay, Kizzy has developed and has on file, has not developed and does not have on file. Kizzy is not a previous contract subject. And that's the case, so. And then you see we have several more sections to go. That's why you need to make sure as you're doing this, you have something here. You may even need a little snack. Vendor will provide. No. Subsidiary, no. And if you want the definitions, just click the link. If you want to read more about it. Unpaid tax, no. Felony, no. No. Okay. Provide telecommunications, no. No. Okay. Okay. So in other words, since I didn't select NAICS codes that fall under a certain part of this entire process, they're just letting me know, like, we're gonna move you forward. Perfect. Do I wish to bid on or currently hold DoD issue or funded? I'm gonna select yes, because I wanna bid on. I would say everyone, you wanna select yes, unless you're like, I don't wanna bid on anything with the Department of Defense. You don't want any Army, Navy, Air Force contracts, then select no. Transported by sea, no. Represent the prices set forth are based on the wages or material price established and controlled by a foreign entity, no. Are we owned by a foreign entity? No. Is KPC a foreign, or Kizzy Foundation? KPC is my flagship company. No, no, no. For those of you where you are a foreign entity or you have a controlling company which is a foreign entity, then make sure you go through every single one of these questions. Are we serving severely disabled individuals? We are not at this time. Oh. Are Kizzy Foundation financial statements in compliance with generally accepted accounting principles? Yes. I was so used to selecting no, y'all, I almost selected no again. Yes. Now, for those of you where you're like, but I don't have any financials, I don't even have a QuickBooks account or a Xero account or any kind of account, that's okay. Just select yes because you're going to follow them. They're not asking you, do you have an account? Have you submitted your taxes? They're not asking you that. And again, feel free to go through here and read each of these if you so desire. Do I wish to apply for financial assistance? No. You may select yes, if that applies. In this section, they're asking for any alternative points of contact. What's vital is group email addresses may be used as long as they are affiliated with the entity. Meaning, if you have info at, hello at, finance at, group at, email me at, I don't know, I'm trying to be funny, y'all, I'm trying. They're letting you know that may be used. Keep in mind, anyone you list here is going to be able to obtain access to all of this. So be careful, just be careful. I'm gonna see if I can go past this because, I can't. So I entered the information and now I'm just copying it all over. You have to enter it once. I enter the information under accounts receivable and electronic business. Now I'm going to the last area and just simply copying it over. You're welcome to add additional points of contact if you so desire. You can verify all of your information here. And then in order to submit, they're asking me for another passcode. So I'm going here on my phone, bam, I already have the email. Three, 2, 5, 4, 5. Perfect. This is exactly what you want. This page right here. It's letting you know that you've submitted everything that they have asked for. Then they went ahead and outlined all of the next steps. The main next step is that they're going to verify that you have a physical address. I know that there are some of you out there that have a virtual address or you have these other kind of unique addresses. If it is not a place that somebody can physically go and meet with you in an office environment, whether it's a house, it's an apartment, it's a condo, it's a virtual working space where you have an office, you're gonna get an email. And they're going to ask for more information, or they're just gonna flat out reject it. That's why it is so vital that you have all of this set up ahead of time. As you can see, the entity was officially submitted. My active government contracting companies are here, and it went from ID assigned to submitted registration. Awesome. And I'm looking forward to share all of the next steps with you all. Thank you so much, so much for watching. All my amazing GovCon winners. Again, my name is Dr. Kizzy Parks. I've been awarded well over $70 million federal government contracts. Like, subscribe. And don't forget, everything is possible.